I've always been fascinated by death. Like the whole concept of dying, what happens when we die, how we die, where do we go to when we die? All that talk, all that death stuff, it has always fascinated me, how people die, like what goes through people's minds when they die. And I have a passion for working in like a field that has to do with death and transitioning. And I hope to someday work in like a hospice or somewhere where, I could work with or assist people as they transition. There was a time where I used to volunteer in a death bathhouse, let me call it that, where, they prepare the corpse of someone who has passed for burial. Being a part of that, it was just so beautiful. It was an Islamic bathhouse for people who have transitioned. So they had all these rites and rituals that they did to prepare the body for burial. And, just being a part of all that, assisting in that, it was just really fulfilling for me and gave me a sense of purpose. And it made me so fulfilled that, I get to be a part of somebody's journey in this way. There's just one thing that always struck me is the peace that was on their faces. It was just a peace. Like there was so much peace in their expression. But anyway, this video is gonna touch more on what happens after we die. Where do we go to? How do we transition? Perspective. What if when we die, we don't die? What if we just transition to another reality? Yes, this is an alternate reality video. Yeah, this is another alternate reality multiverse video. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It just changes form, right? So what if when you're living in a certain reality, you're in this world, for instance, and then you die, you supposedly die. To the people around you, you're dead. But what if you just continue in another reality? Maybe you're driving down the road, you have this fatal accident, and everybody's like, oh my goodness, he's dead or she's dead, But your soul has jumped into another body, in another reality where the accident happened. But in this reality, the accident wasn't fatal. You did not lose your life. You just continue on and you're like, oh wow, oh my God, I had this bad accident. I lost my leg, I lost my hand, but I'm still here. Or you didn't even lose anything, What if it's just a transition? Now, if we look at reality as everything that is happening in your reality right now is an extension of you. Like if somebody is in your reality, they're only in your reality because that is what you can perceive. That's how you perceive them. So everybody and everything happening in your reality is happening based on your own perception, based on how you're perceiving it. So in that case, if someone in your reality dies, for instance, they're dying in your reality. Let's say you lose a parent. You are the one that lost that parent. That parent died in your reality. So you have lost your parent in your reality. But your parent is still alive in an alternate reality. Yeah, their life just continues on. So where you feel like they died, they just died in your own reality. But that thing that killed them in your reality did not kill them in the reality they just continue on with. So with that, you see that if it's you who dies in a certain reality, you won't know that you're dead because you're just dead in that reality. So it's the people that in that reality that experience your death, but you just continue on to another reality and you just continue the life. And in that reality, if something happens, you die, you enter another reality, you just continue on. And if we're looking at it from that perspective, then it means we have died like a million times, and we just keep moving on, like there's no end. It's like we're stuck in like a cycle. We're stuck in like this system where we can't die. It's like a video game. The character like dies, but is still alive. Like he still comes back and continues playing and continues and then you finish the game and then he starts again. So it's like, where's the end, where's the beginning? It just keeps on going like that. So it almost looks like an inception, like you die in this reality, you continue in another reality. Like it's an inception of realities. You go from here to here to here to here. Like, where does it end? It never ends. So it's just this inception of a lot of realities. And something that like kind of mirrors this perspective is the Black Mirror episode called DJ Ash. I'll put a description in the video. I can't remember what the name exactly is, but it has something to do with DJ, where they kept coming back and meeting themselves. They try to escape and then they come and they start the reality, But in this case, it's a continuation. It's not a restart. It's like a continuation, And then if we're looking at it from this perspective, then sometimes you might get stuck in limbo. So what that means is maybe you die in a reality and then you just automatically go to another reality and then you just get stuck in this like limbo type of reality where everything is just misery. And you see some people who like their life is just like one fucked up event over the other, like they can never catch a break. They're stuck in limbo, So maybe they have like entered a reality where they just keep going in this karmic loop of fucked up shit. Like it just keeps going like that. Also movies like Happy Death Day or Russian Doll, where like this person just keeps repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Again, like a video game. You die at a stage and you come back and continue from that stage. But in this case, you've entered an alternate reality. You actually died in the reality you're coming from. So then, if we're looking at it from this perspective again, it's like there are multiple realities. Like they're like unending number of realities, and you just keep going from here and here and here. So your life just continues, But then, look, this shit is wild. It's like the realities, are actually unending. And if we're looking at time as a construct that, it doesn't really exist, then all the realities are happening at the same time. So you as a baby and you as probably 100-year-old man or woman is happening simultaneously. Yeah. So it means that you're not actually aging. And it means you're not actually dying. So you're just in that loop of different realities and you're just like jumping to this one, 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 to this one. Yeah, it kind of just keeps going round and round like that. But yeah. So what if that's what happens? And I mean, I'm fascinated by what happens when we die. Just thinking about this is like, oh wow, like, yeah, I won't lie, it's kind of tempting to just find out like, well, what the fuck, what even happens when we die even, but nah, I'm not gonna try shit like that. It's tempting. But anyway, going by this, it just shows that we're immortal souls. Our body might have an expiry date, but our souls are immortal and it lives forever. And it also shows how anything happening in your reality is just you're the only one that exists in your reality. Everybody you're seeing is a projection of your mind, of what is happening in your mental. It's a projection from your crown chakra. You're projecting all that is happening in your reality. And when you also see it this way, you also see how you're in charge of what you receive in your reality. So if you don't like something that is happening in your reality, all you need to do is change your perception of it. Just change your perception and it changes, because you're the one perceiving it. So if something is happening and the way you perceive it is, oh my god, this shit is so fucked up, it's so oh my god, it's weighing me down, it's so like, all that kind of shit. of course you're going to be miserable. But once you change your perception of, okay, this thing that is happening, let me be an observer. I'm like a scientist right now, it kind of changes how you see it, and it takes away the misery from it. That shit is noisy, but yeah, all these like things, like they're very, nice, very nice concepts, but to apply it sometimes it's like, fuck. Like, dude, human being, man. But yeah, I have like several theories about what happens when we die, and this is one of them, and this one, I see how like this can hold weight for me, because when you're interacting with people who have passed on, you're just interacting with a version of them in a higher realm. Because if we're also looking at it that, okay, we're in alternate realities, then we'll also see how there's still a version of us that has transcended the whole like 3D verse, and has moved into higher planes, into like maybe a 4D or a 5D or a 6D. So when we're like conversing with someone who has passed, we can either get in touch with maybe like a 3D version of them, or a 4D version of them, or a 5D version of them, depending on like what frequency we're operating at. I've had to deal with loss like a couple of times, and it has taught me that I don't like mourn loss with misery anymore. Yeah, I grieve, but it's not to a miserable where I'm like miserable. I said anymore because I had to go through that misery stage. I don't mourn loss in misery anymore, because I don't want a situation where I'm interacting with a 3D version of the person that has passed, or even a lower version, like a 2D or a 1D version of the person who has passed, So my vibration has to be right for me to like relate to a higher version of that person's spirit. And in the same vein, if we now come to our own personal selves, when we're also like interacting with like what you call your higher self, the vibration you're operating at, or your frequency, will also determine if you're going to be interacting with a 3D version of yourself, or a 4D version of yourself, or 5D or 6D, depending on your frequency, the version of yourself you're interacting with increases. Same with your ancestors. Yeah, again, this is a perspective. Don't swallow it. Don't swallow. If you don't like the taste, spit it out. Also with your ancestors, are you interacting with a 4D version, or like a higher dimensional version, or a lower dimensional version of your ancestors, when you speak to them and all that? So yeah, I actually like this perspective about death. That is so fascinating, and I actually get disappointed when I see how with the world like looks at death like this grievous thing that nobody wants to talk about. And that's the one sure thing in life. That's the only absolute in life, is that you will die. So when people are so scared, like people don't even want to hear about that, talk about that, you see a dead body and you're like, oh my god, and it's like, why? I'm not talking of just seeing like a gory corpse. I'm talking about, just the whole process of death. You have a loved one who has passed, and you're afraid to look at them. And that fear stems from, it stems from inside. It stems from the fear of you dying, because when someone dies, it reminds you that, oh, you're gonna die too. But duh. But of course. But yeah, like, I think people should be more accepting of death, because that's the one sure thing in life. It's even surer than your bladder working. That's the one sure thing once you're in this world. Yeah, so yeah, I think more people need to embrace like death, talk about it more. The death inception, I think that's what I'm gonna call this video. Peace out.